Hello, so I thought today I'd do an early morning stream just because I got up quite early to get some stuff done. And I thought, yeah, why not come on now? So hopefully there'll be people on because I know obviously I'm in quite a different time than normal to be streaming. So I don't know if most people have woken up yet or whatever. But there we go. So hopefully everybody's all right. Morning, call sign. Morning, Ashton. There's no theme to this stream, by the way. Talk about whatever as long as it's legal. But yeah, no theme to this one. Yeah, you find you didn't miss one because I am on now. So hello everybody that's just joining. What time zone are you in then, Zeno? So yeah, everybody will have to tell me what time zones they're in if they're saying they're getting ready for bed or they've just got up or whatever. But right. Morning, Mike. Yeah, well, anybody really. I was just wondering for anybody what time zones they are in for the people saying that, it's night here or I'm just going to bed or I've just woken up. I was just wondering. Yeah, hopefully everybody's all right. I'm all right today. Did something this morning I should have probably done a while ago, but oh wow, it's done now. But yeah, not much going on with me. So obviously everybody who's on here, if you any questions, anything interesting to talk about, we can do. Well, I've got nothing to do. I might as well pop this on. Drink some coffee while waiting for questions. Stephen Hawking died, didn't he, sadly, a while ago, Frosty? But he was a very good physicist, wasn't he? I mean, I never met him, so when you say, do I like him? I've never met him, but, in terms of, like, a lot of the mathematics sort of stuff he did, all the physics and maths and all the space stuff, that was fascinating. I've not got any new ones from 2020 FBI Agent, but there's still companies making respirators. Do you mean new ones as in, like, brand new, or just ones as in made this year? That's annoying, Mike, but I suppose by the time you've renewed it and got all that done, you might have a couple of months worth to cash out. But at least they've replied, haven't they? So it's going to work as soon as that's done. That's a Russian riot helmet. Today's video will be on that goes on at 12. It's got like a name like SHZTPU or something like that when you translate it to English. Myra, oh dear. So if it's Myra, it won't be really a new thing, will it? Let's have a look at Myra's website then for a laugh and see what the actual product is. So I guess accessories and MISC. The only one on there is the SOX one that they're selling for like $150, not like $90. Yeah, it's annoying, isn't it, Mike? But you at least know they've looked into it, so it will be fine once they, UK, so we're at +1 BST at the moment, as in British summertime, but normally it would be an hour behind. So most of the year we'd be at 9:25 a.m., but at the moment it's 10:25 a.m. Yeah, there's lots of dodgy comments like that, Daniel. I know with like people that say, we've had quite a few spam ones on here, like some of them which are just literally spam bots from some sort of like weird phishing companies, I think. But yeah, I've never watched Gordon Ramsay's stuff, Brandon. In all honesty, I know he does like Kitchen Nightmares or whatever it is, but I've never watched it. Does it? Miss Valadez? So that's not a very good name for a company, is it? To literally call your company evil, unless it was like Dr. Evil or Blofeld or somebody who ran the company. Yeah. Had to get up early, Justin, because I was filing a police report. I won't say any more than that, because obviously if it's an actual investigation now, don't want to compromise it. But yeah, I ended up just getting really fed up with sort of the constant harassment from some of the people on here. So I thought, right, that's it. I'll actually, file it with the police properly. For those of you that are new here, I've just got now zero tolerance with kind of people I have no idea who they are coming on and just talking shit. Because as I said, I've had like an actual harassment campaign, but we won't go into that. That'll make the stream sort of really. Yeah, Preston, but obviously that was just a throwaway accounts being used by somebody else. But yeah, but I won't say too much because as I said, if it's an actual police investigation now, then you don't want to compromise it. But yeah, it's because your name's actually your username. All right, Nanta. Doctor Who gas mask. No, I've got the actual proper British ones, but the one in the Empty Child isn't actually a real mask. It's a prop mask. Morning, Baltux. So yeah, don't forget to like the stream if you're just coming on. But as I said, I've not really got anything on today at all other than doing a stream now. We'll get a video filmed at some point today. I'll get some washing done. I think that's about it. Normally on a Saturday I'd be at work right now, but can't be because I'm furloughed. No, Nantar, that would be heretical. That is French riot armor, but quite an old style, because now it's all like modern plasticky kind of little bits, isn't it? That is like old foam kind of bits on the stuff. Yeah, that's the thing, Jennifer, although I know for certain one of the trolls doing this has actually been around for years, and I think they've just recently must have had a mental breakdown. But again, I don't want to say too much, but yeah, basically it's a case of, although a lot of them might be new idiots, one of them is definitely somebody who's been around for a while and has just recently decided that they're going to be a dick to loads of people online. But, alright, Hype. They use the M17 in the Gulf War FBI agent. Then M17A2, I've got a video on it. No shooting skill, I've not. What makes it good? Is it finally like a good Gen 3 unit or a hybrid unit? Because I know the British Army for ages has meant to have really bad night vision, hasn't it? Like, they buy some night vision from other countries, but a lot of it was just basically like Gen 1 equivalent, I think. I've got an M17A2 FBI agent. I can't get it at the moment because I don't know where it's stored. Unless it's that one. Hang on, let me finish my coffee. And then if the M17A2's in that bag, I'll get it for you. So let's have a look. Kestrel BNVDS. Let's have a look at that. BNVDS, was it? I've seen a picture of them come up. Does it say? I'll put a link to the article I'm just looking at the moment into the chat for anybody who wants to see what I'm looking at. But there you go, shoot and scoop. So does it say what gen they are? Oh, and a forward from myself is they are fucking brilliant. So there we go. At least if the guy knows what he's talking about, they probably are good. Does it say what generation they are? No. I assume they'd be Gen 3, wouldn't they? If Britain's just issuing them now. but they do look good if they're actually, you know, built to good international standards. But hopefully, I was just seeing if I won't spend the entire thing reading the thing, but basically, so it sounds good. It sounds like Britain's actually getting some good night vision for once. That'd be nice. Be very nice for that turned up on the surplus market, you know, at reasonable prices. But I won't assume that it will. But maybe if Britain starts issuing lots of new night vision, they'll surplus the old night vision. That's an idea. Right. Good. They're proper Gen 3s then. I don't know, Briggs. Oh, yeah, Hype will answer you. Hype is really into night vision, so if you've got night vision questions, ask him, not me. Would be the best thing I'd say. Right, this might be my M17 here. Let me have a look. It's definitely the right sort of satchel for the M17. Right, assuming nothing's going to fall down there. Yep. I think the M17 might be in here. Mass, chemical, biological, field, M17A2. Yep, so for the person asking about the M17, there you go. I've got the chemical hood on it, so it's very Gulf Warish. The reason is the chemical hoods are a bitch to take on and put off, a bit like the cheek filters. So as soon as I got the chemical hood on, I was like, I'm not taking that off again. I'm afraid I don't know what to say. It could be either obviously you've got a defective mask, but if you've taken the plugs out the filters, if you wear it without the filters, is it still really hard to breathe? Because if that's the case, I think you've probably just got a really bad defective mask. M1s are not known for their quality. Is the only thing I'll sort of say with that. So yeah, let's get the M17 on them. Although these hoods make them very difficult to put on. So yeah, you should be able to truth, love, and honor. But yeah, for the person asking about the US Gulf War mask, it's this one. Now I'll take it off because the breathing resistance is not very good on this, because I think it's just due to the filters being quite old in there. They're quite clogged, because the problem is with M17s and other cheek filter masks, the filters are relatively small, so the filters clog quite easily. And then when the filters clog, of course, breathing gets harder and harder. So Old Boy says, yeah, well, no filter. If I put on the Israeli and try to cover it, the filter would go. It leaks. I can still breathe. Hard to, but I don't know. Plug in the mouthpiece. What do you mean by that, Sam? Do you mean the exhale valve cover? That wouldn't be an issue, but that's for exhaling, not breathing in. I think you might just have a defective mask by the sound of it. The thing is, yeah, Miss Valadez, you could make your own mask, but the issue is obviously if you were making one properly, you'd need like rubber factory, you know, like plastic, you know, and metal kind of crimping and all that. Where that's interesting, Hype. Like I said, I don't know enough about night vision, but I do understand obviously all the things where certain gens can be better than others depending on how good they are, you know, in a sense. I've just got my what's it on there, look. The pulsar. Oh, and for the people who were wondering from a stream a couple of days ago, that tritium does still glow in the dark. Because I put the file marker that I hadn't opened into the other room. And what I did is, when all the lights were out at night, I looked at it, and yeah, and it does glow quite well in the dark. Oh, that's cool, Will. Glad I can help you with just doing videos and that. Magnificent Bar Steward, I'm afraid, other than telling them obviously Corona's real and a thing, there's not much you can do. I don't want to sound too much of a downer there, but I know there's a lot of people at the moment who don't even want to follow basic Corona stuff, you know, like not going into groups and stuff like that. More practical mask. If you want something pretty practical that are cheap, although the postage times might be slow, I still really like these Chinese Scott ripoffs. They're kind of like a weird mishmash between Scott and 3M masks. But it's the one Dear Love Survival reviewed the proper Scott version of it recently, and this is like the Chinese ripoff of it. But for like £20 brand new masks, these aren't bad at all for like how good the panoramic visor is and that. That's cool, Cherno Inferno. I hope you're enjoying the stream so far. Hopefully it's a nice weather day, is it, for fishing and that? I know in the UK now people are allowed to go fishing and doing stuff like that again, where they've released lockdown things. I just find it interesting, Philip. There's no real answer. I mean, history at school was good, but it depended on what bit of the history subject, you know, because some teachers made it more interesting than others. At the moment, there's not many good places at all cheap to buy filters, just because they're all basically sold out or overpriced wherever you look. But probably Preston. I mean, I'm not entirely sure. You'd have to read all the legislation, but I know it's a lot more relaxed for people spending a lot more time outdoors doing things. All right. No, I've got an amateur radio, Dan, but I've never got into it. Somebody said something about FBI agents that it takes a while to type. Can you answer the question above? But I can't. Oh, was it? So I know you did a video on the Rainbow Six gas mask, but could you explain why Smoke can breathe in his smoke, but Mute couldn't? I'm trying to think. Are they both defenders? But the real reason is Rainbow Six Siege doesn't have realistic gas masks in it. But if you're on about the mask, because he had tape over the front of his mask, which could compromise the seal on it a little bit. Oh yeah, I forgot about that, Jennifer. It's weird, isn't it? Because like Wales and Scotland at the moment, and I don't know about some of the other places, but they're all different stuff, aren't they? Although I know that, you know, the UK thing of simply saying be cautious or stay alert or whatever it is doesn't really make much sense, does it? Which version of the Mark 6 manual, the Mark 6 or the Mark 6A? The Mark 6A is the one that's got the black sort of design. The regular Mark 6 is like the green one. I think the things on his back, FBI agent, are basically a PAPA system. You know, where it's like an electric motor that works on a filter to basically pull in air to make you breathe easier. But yeah, that's why his thing looks weird, because it's actually a PAPA system attached to two hoses going into the mask, and then he's got a VPU on. Have you watched Daniel, Our Reactor is on Fire, which is about wind scale? That's a pretty good documentary. Right, let me do that then, Mr. Bear 3D. The only thing I'm seeing coming up is a random like fashion mask. Unless you typed in wrong what I had to search. Yeah, M10Ms aren't brilliant, but for Corona they'd be fine. Some outdoor. The thing you'll hate with that though is putting the filters in. Ask a question if you've got one. You don't need to say, "Oh, I've got a question." I can definitely see this bad side of it, like in that regard, Magnificent Bar Steward. Yeah, that a lot of people might be being, being put in danger's way in the sense of not having PPE and then, being at risk of being infected. Yeah, FBI agent, as said, Rainbow Six Siege isn't the best game to look at if you want to see realistic gas masks, because I think the developers did it on stuff they thought looked cool, not the practicality of it. I'm not sure, Steve, and I've not played it in ages, so you might be on about the, like I was saying, the what's it unit. Or if you're on about the front, you're on about the voice projection unit. I've seen the channel. Is that the guy that does urban exploration? But I definitely would not drink stagnant water anywhere, especially not around Chernobyl, because, radionuclides. And yeah, asbestos and radionuclides, not a great mix for your lungs. I've never used it. I think it looks all right, Alf, but I've never used the K1, so I know which mask you mean, but I've never used it, so I don't know if it'd be good or not. Brandon says, could you do a French accent? There you go. I don't know if it's good, but I still need to get around to watching my Hello Hello box set. You stupid woman. But, yeah, there you go. Right, the Mickey Mouse mask that was used in World War II, Mr. Bear 3D, was the British Mickey Mouse mask, not the US one that had a load of prototypes done, but they never really made it, as far as I'm aware. The British one was called the Mickey Mouse, but it has nothing really to do with Mickey Mouse. It's just like a bright red and blue or blue and black Avon sort of and other rubber companies made, just so the colours looked more exciting for children. Quite a lot of people that come on the comments on here like hello, hello, Magnificent Bar Steward for some reason. But I think it's just their good old fun television series, aren't they? Which videos are that? Truth, Love and Honor? Oh, what? The urban exploration ones, sort of in Chernobyl or whatever. But yeah, at the moment, like I said, although they've released a lot of the lockdown stuff, I'm still being sensible, because even though, like we said, you can do more stuff out, that doesn't mean it's necessarily a good idea to do it, does it? I don't know what you mean about training, but the MCU2P often tints yellow and has got a big panoramic lens. Yeah, PPM-88s were one of the better Soviet late masks. Shame they didn't make more of those on GP7s. Don't really get your question there, Cryptic Wolf. What's the question? It's the M2000, the current one, shooting scooter. No, I don't have one. They look quite good, but I don't have one. Game with the most accurate gas mask, probably Verdun, actually. I haven't played Tannenberg or whatever it's called, the sequel to Verdun, but those, because they actually have, the correct looking World War I masks, and, they realistically kind of fog and everything. Let's have a look then at that intensifier tube. So it's a Philips one. That looks quite interesting. But at the moment, I need to be really careful with my money, in all honesty, because I do keep buying stuff like that on eBay and then thinking maybe I shouldn't, because at the moment with all the furlough stuff. Basically, they can't cryptic wolf, which is the problem. Because, like they've said, in most countries, lots of people are going to end up dying from unrelated things to COVID just due to strain on medical systems. How do you mean with the M10M be loud? It's got a voice diaphragm, so people can hear you when you speak. Oh, is that the one where there's the volcano, Mr. Bear 3D? Furlough is extended, Preston. But again, the problem is everybody basically doesn't know what the situation is going to be like when we come out of furlough, do we? Pretty much across the UK and the world, with countries that have got furlough-style schemes, because there's probably a lot of businesses that might collapse during the period. Even if the workers are being paid furlough, the companies might, have lost too much in rent or whatever else by the time it's all over. So quite early there then, Voom Zoom. That's pretty bad, Miss Valadez. I mean, here, thankfully, I've not had any severe asthma problems for ages, but they do the thing here. Well, they didn't last time I was at the pharmacy, but a couple of weeks ago, they did the thing where they were rationing inhalers. So as in, if you had more than one inhaler on your prescription, you could only have one. Because the idea was, I think, every patient could at least get one inhaler, rather than them running out of stock. Hans, in terms of NBC suits, what do you want it for? Actual full-on chemical protection, or just one as a cool thing to own? Yeah, it's definitely legal to wear one, Sam, especially at the moment, because everybody's being encouraged to wear masks, not discouraged. It's not biohazard for Fukushima, Mr. Bear. It's a radiological hazard, because it's where they had the nuclear power plant that, was hit by the tsunami and the earthquake. So they had a partial meltdown, and then, a lot of the building was destroyed. Because lots of people want to, Rolandas. Again, it's up to you, isn't it? If you particularly wanted to do something, it's up to you how you do it. But lots of people prefer to have a safe filter and then just, use the filter. Yeah, exactly, Hans. If the best thing to do if you want a NBC suit that looks cool and is sort of practical is to buy the old rubberized communist suits. So like East German, Czech, Polish, all those, because they're generally quite cheap online. They're not very comfortable, but they're still pretty protective because, they're impermeable suits. They're basically like rain gear, basically, that covers your entire body. except for where your mask pokes out, and they're generally a lot cheaper. It's got bids on, but yeah, that looks cool. But yeah, it's going to depend what price it goes for, because obviously, if it ends up going for too much, it's on bids. But I'll keep an eye on that. How long does it? It's on for one more day. I'll put a watch on it, but watch this item. There we go. Right. I've got that on a watch height, but I'll be careful about bidding on it, because as I said, I need to be careful about stuff like that, because it's too easy to just keep going, oh, buy that, buy this, buy that. Well, NBC suits don't normally have ammo pockets on. If you meant wearing vests over NBC suits, in general, with most NBC suits, you could fit body armor over them fine, because NBC suits are quite slimline. They made a real mix of equipment, I'd say, Hans. Some of the Soviet equipment was very good, some of it was awful. I think it depends on what you want to look at. But yeah, the NBC suits aren't comfortable, but they're very practical, they made. You know, their NBC suits, I think, were designed that they could build one that would last for years, essentially. Which was the suit I had? Are you thinking of the Last Resort NBC sort of thing, like the body condom thing, Truth, Love and Honor? That was already asked, Mr. Bear 3D, but it's just I find them interesting. I'm afraid there's no real, super intricate answer to that. I just find all that stuff interesting. Is that an Italian military helmet, Fiji? I don't know. How much are they, but I don't. Other than the Italian M33 helmet, I don't actually have any Italian helmets. In theory, shoot and scoot, I prefer just regular filter style masks rather than ones with rebreather setups, if that's what you're asking, because rebreathers have so many factors that can go wrong with them. I know that you can use them in zero oxygen environments and stuff like that, but rebreathers are kind of scary if you actually have to use them, because of the idea that, if you run out of oxygen while you're wearing it, you'll die and not know. The OOB 1 isn't for military type stuff, Cryptic. It's what the OOB 1 I think is for is like serious hazmat kind of investigation type stuff. So it's not like an NBC suit infantry would wear. It's ones that people would be, dressed up in a bit like bomb suits if they had to investigate, like some sort of, thing like that. So no, for most people, OOB 1s are really impractical, which is basically what I said about it. The OOB 1 that you just asked about. That's horrible. Is that stomach ulcers or what? But yeah, all that sort of stuff is horrible. Oh, you have to do better than that one. No, I don't have any US World War II optical masks. What movie was that? Sorry? Let's not start all this, Briggs. Yeah, the standard NBC suit's Cryptic. So the Polish suit you can use, like all the body armor with, would be the modern one. Would be the is it the Fu 1 suit? It's called. I've done a video on it, but not the OOB, because the OOB's the hazmat. It'd be like the Fu suit, which is the camo kind of one. It's like a British Mark IV suit, or any of those. Oh, that's cool, Fiji. So is that a military helmet, or is it some sort of like thing for people in hospitals? As I said, Mr. Bear, sadly I can't really advise you on cheap filters anymore because so many have sold out everywhere. I won't stream for loads of time today because although I got up early, you know, and I'm fairly awake, I'm not super awake, you know. No, let me link you to what I'm on about, Rolandus. You go. The Fu one, if you scroll part way down, is the NBC suit on the left side of an image. You know, that's like the camo suit. So it's a camo NBC suit, and yeah, as you can see from that body armor, and that would fit over it no problem. Because it's essentially just a zip and Velcro, you know, NBC treated material. That's the advantage of mechanical keyboard. As in deactivated, George, it depends if you really want one or not. The thing is with deact guns is, you know, if you've got the money for them and don't need to use the money on anything else, and you're not paying too much for them, they're nice little things to, you know, sensibly play about with. But it depends if you really want one or not, you know, because there's lots of different deacts and all that you can get, or antique caliber guns or whatever. So the thing is, if it's decommissioned as in like deactivated Martini Henry and it's cheap enough, then sure. But obviously, bear in mind with some things that deacts can actually be stupidly expensive for being a deac. So, for example, in the UK, with deacts, you can sometimes buy things like deactivated Soviet PPSH submachine guns for like £200 or less. Yet buying a deactivated not the Enfield, sorry, like Enfield L85 would be, you know, sometimes like a couple of grand. So the prices of deacts don't really always make much sense. So I'd say I go for it more on, if you look at deacts, because obviously deacts aren't going to work, you know, go for one that looks, you like the look of more. Right, so is it the actual display that's not working, GMAC? But yeah, if the display isn't working, as in that bit, open the case up, where the positive and minus cable go into the display, put a multimeter on it, set it to the lowest setting of millivolts you can do, and then you should be able to basically see numbers registering as it registers doses on there. So what you can do to test it is put it on all the settings with the millivolts. So when you do the battery test, you should get a higher reading. Then when you put it to 0 and then adjust the 0 thing till it actually goes to 0. Samuel Bolton says, "Hey dude, love you. Can you give me a shout out?" There you go. Let me search that FBI agent, because the problem is a lot of masks seem to have alternative names. So, oh, the big titanium helmet. No, I don't. That's right. Yeah, with most ionization chamber units, I've not got the multimeter handy, so I can't show you. But like for example, with this CDV, what you just want to do is, if you see there's just basically a positive and negative wire connecting all the electronics up to the display, the ampere. So all you want to do is basically just rewire it so those are going to the multimeter, not the original display. So it's a very similar thing when you open up the MD3, that basically, yeah, there'll be a positive and minus wire, you know, just feeding into the little filament display. And all you need to do is, yeah, essentially clip your multimeter there instead. All right, Mike. Cool, Cryptic Wolf. Yeah, they'll be more expensive than some NBC suits, but Fu ones are pretty good. The postman's coming up the drive by look of it, so I better go answer the door. Right, be right back. Right, would you like to see what parcel I've got? What I'll do is I won't show you the address, even though, as I said, some saddos were trying to dox me anyway. So if people saw the address, it wouldn't be the end of the world anyway, because you know. Anyway, let's see what's in the parcel, shall we? We'll do an unboxing live on camera. I think this might be a Geiger counter I ordered earlier in the week that I won on eBay on an auction. It could be something completely unrelated, but you know, this was one that was meant to be coming today. So, well, not today. It was meant to be coming like Thursday or later. So, yeah, live unboxing. There you go. So you can actually see I am doing an unboxing. But yeah, if people are wondering how I magically knew the postman was coming up the drive before the doorbell rang, because I've got CCTV. That's all it is. You know, nothing really scary, but CCTV is quite handy, isn't it? So, right, let's get this out. Assuming this is the Geiger counter, not something totally random and not the Geiger counter. But there we go. It's got a nice little satchel, whatever this is. Right, let's have a look. Oh, yes, it is. Excellent. Right, shall we test it? We'll have to see if... Well, I hope it takes batteries that still exist. Oh, it's got a little manual. But, yeah, I'm not going to read all that right now. But, yeah, the interesting thing is this one. The manufacturer bit of this really interested me because it's not a typical military contractor. If that focuses, Panax. And Panax is, I think, the same company that was Pentax, which was a camera manufacturer. Right, so let's see what we've got. So, I assume the battery thing might be here. Yeah, okay, so... there's batteries in it. That's cool. So it looks like the person's observed the battery polarity correctly. So let's actually put that in and test it. I wasn't expecting it to come with batteries, but let's see if it actually works. So, test. Nah, they seem to be flat. Yeah, right, let's put my own batteries in it then. Assuming it works anyway. Wow, a Tesco's value D cell. Amazing. Right. I should have some D cells handy. Maybe. I'm trying to think. I know. Inside the battery charger. So yeah, that's a weird battery compartment, isn't it? Essentially, with this one, The first battery you put in and then get it to slide that way. Yeah, I don't think this is the best designed battery compartment in the world, but essentially you get the first battery and push it that way once it's gone in. Then you put this battery in like that. What you could do, my channel, then, to avoid people thinking you're racially insensitive for wearing a gas mask, is probably clean it. Right, test. Is the test going to work? Or sadly not? I'll have to take this apart and have a play with it, because obviously it wasn't advertised as a working one. It was just quite cool that, you know, I saw one on eBay. But it could also be that, just for example, the contacts are a bit bent inside and it's not attaching to the contacts properly. So what I will do is I'll have to have a play about with this. But yeah, hopefully this can get I can get this working. So it was used by the Ministry of Defence Navy Department. So what does this thing do? It's a calibration control that you can't access easily. There's like a really stiff bit there that's obviously attached on the cap, and I can't get it. But yeah, what I'll do is I'll first disassemble the battery compartment, I reckon, and just check the contacts. Right, Alex? It's just a Big Ben sort of chime, isn't it, on the doorbell? Right. I'll have to get that open. Yeah, the thing is, these old Geigers I don't rely on for calibration reasons. I just like them as collectibles, you know, and if they work, all the better. But, you know, the point was just I saw it on eBay and thought, oh, that looks good. I want to bid on it. But yeah, hopefully I can get it working. Sometimes it is something really simple in these, like a battery contact's not quite as tight as it should be. So let's, without losing anything, let's undo some screws and see if we can get out the thing and check the battery contacts to begin with, because that would be a good start. But I'm kind of impressed this is actually a D-cell one for however old it is. Because obviously lots of these old Geigers are in silly kind of configurations. I'll put that down again so you can actually see what I'm doing, rather than it just looking like I'm ignoring everybody. I'm going to assume that, yeah, it's not just that side, it's all connected. So it's going to be like a lift-out mechanism on this Geiger. I don't know if I've ever used Epic Militaria off the top of my head. Yeah, the calibration for this looks like it says 1980s. So this is more recent than I actually thought it was. Because looking at this, I thought this was going to be like 1960s. But that makes sense then why it's D-cells and not a stupid old battery type that doesn't exist anymore. At the moment, it's 10 past 11. Yeah, that's going to lift off in a minute. If I can just get the last of these screws all the way out. Oh, somebody coming on to give an insult again. Hello. Well, lots of napalm has white phosphorus mixed in with it. AM. So yeah, the stream's going to be extended just because I'm actually taking this apart now live on camera. Oh, that's a really cool shed on fire. I mean, not if you've had bad stuff happen to you because of it, but it's kind of cool if there's weird stuff that goes on. Right, is that going to lift off now? Ah, yeah, there we go. Right, so there's the circuit board, or circuit boards. There's all the mechanisms. So the battery compartment's actually in its own little thing. Now, there's a bit of corrosion to the battery compartment, so of course it could be related to that. But, Thank you, Pete. I'm not making anything. I was just dismantling a Geiger counter. One that just literally came in the post when I was streaming, and I wanted to see if it worked. There's nothing that seems obviously broken, as in blown capacitors or anything in there. So it's probably just a case of the battery contacts aren't very good, I'd assume, or hope. So, yeah, just for the... Some of the 3M rip-off masks are alright, others aren't. Let me turn this on a second. Hopefully that's a bit easier to see the inside of that now. So, what we've learned is that there doesn't seem to be much wrong with this bit. What's the rattling coming from? Ah, that's just that. So it's just not a very tight sort of bit of glass in there. What I could do is if I can get a crop clip in the right places, I could just put that on the bench transformer to check. But let's just see where the light was. I know it's a UV light, but the battery compartment doesn't look too bad, actually. It might just be a case of batteries not quite lining up with the pins. Let's try that again. So the main annoying thing with this is just getting these batteries, I think, into position. Right, that feels a bit more solid this time. It might also be a case of the contact here is a bit crap, actually touching the top of the battery. Nah, I'll have a play about with it once the stream ends and then see if I can get any joy with it then. I assume this can go into the case either way. It looks pretty much identical both ways around the case. I think. Maybe. Or is it slightly wider on one side than the other? I'm not entirely sure, actually. Anyway, I'll have a look in a minute when the stream ends. And then see if I can get any joy from it. I'll need to get some pliers on this bit. I assume that's just a calibration control under there. But... yeah. Oh, that shouldn't twist like that, should it? I've seen a bit of a problem there. Look at that. I wonder, actually. I've just had an idea. Can I untwist the thing, you know, the battery compartment tab, and then get the battery compartment to drop out somehow? Not very much longer, Samuel. Right, so let's take that off and then see. If you see there, this actually sort of twists, and I don't know if it's meant to or not. But, or probably not meant to. It's probably meant to be completely in line, isn't it, with the rest of That could be that the contact's not on tight. Right, let's put that back to exactly how it should sit in there. But yeah, what I might do is just get a bit of foil and make that bit bigger on the battery sort of touching bit. Hello, hello, Your Majesty. Nah, still no luck. Anyway, I'll play about this properly when I'm not streaming, obviously, because I don't want to damage anything by, you know, yanking it too hard when I'm not paying attention. But looks like quite a nifty unit. Hopefully none of the main electronics are damaged. Hopefully it's just a slightly corroded battery compartment or something. But, see you then. It would have been Psychedelic Mind if they could have afforded to have done it, and obviously they didn't. And that we're now learning the hard way of, you know, why it was probably a good idea to issue master people and they didn't bother. But yeah, see you all. Have a good day. That's what I might do in a minute hype. I might just get my bench transformer, take it down to there, and yeah, see if I can get some croc clips where the lead's attached to the battery compartment or the circuit, you know, and then put 3 volts on and see what happens. Let's have a look, even though I've said I'm not going to keep buying stuff on eBay. Yeah, that looks cool. Is that the Soviet type one? Yeah, it is, because it's got Cyrillic writing. Yeah, that's cool. Anyway, see you all. I won't be on later, but I will be on when Weapon Collector streams. But there'll be a video at 12 anyway. So see you all. Have fun.